Is XRP finally ready to break out of this range? By the end of this video, you'll know why, from my personal perspective, that this range we're currently in may be the last pit stop before a massive breakout as a wave 3 that could trigger something much bigger that we're not able to see right now. And we'll figure that out by using the Elliott Wave Theory, which I specialize in. Now, it seems like we've seen the same setup over and over and over, but let me tell you, the insane breakouts for XRP doesn't happen when everyone is just watching the price. In fact, it happens when price is just lingering around and no one is paying attention to it. And it just so happens to be with XRP, you're usually in two different categories. You're either in number one, in a position, or number two, you're not positioned. There's just no way you can know how to get in when the breakout actually happens. And that's precisely what we're seeing right now and what we've seen in the past. And we know that as well because we've seen whales accumulate an insane amount of XRP over the last 7 years or so, observed as a larger triangle. There's just so much data suggesting that although retail thinks that the move is over at these levels, smart money says otherwise. And another real great example to this is that right here, you can see that this shows wallets holding over 1 million XRP or more. We haven't seen any instances of a drop. Price is obviously stalling because those smart whales are also slowly accumulating. But in these instances, you got to ask yourself, why will the market even pay you? And you'll often find that the answer to that is patience, just like what these smart whales are doing. Fortune favors not the bold, but the patience. And the whales know this. And it can equally be punishing if you lack the patience. Now, another prime example of patience is that I can share from a price action perspective goes back to the 2017 bull run. And if you look at it, that is where we also saw a very similar, smaller degree wave 4 before the actual wave 5 broke out. If you lost your patience at the wrong time, you missed out on a 10x rally. That was your missed opportunity. Of course, we're kind of in a different phase right now, but again, the same idea persists where we may see a larger accumulation before a massive breakout, but we are currently in a more bullish structure of a 1-2 where we're missing the waves 3 and 4 and 5 respectively. And that is why I think right now patience is the biggest key factor here. All the XRP traders know this. And another thing that could help us show why XRP is still incredibly bullish is that markets have also reset their interest for XRP in a flash within a few months by just simply looking at the market trends. When looking at the trend for XRP, it's already back at a cycle low within just a few months here. And this is very interesting because it reset to basically go back to the mean value while also maintaining the current price it's at right now near all-time highs. So this means that the markets have essentially oscillated. This is fantastic. It took us 7 years to finally flush out the unnecessary price action and move up one level that we're at right now near all-time highs, while also maintaining a reset in the interest for XRP. Many of you might think that the price is being held up by certain institutions or market makers, but let me tell you, I don't think that's the case. It's people just simply not selling their XRP, and that is the big difference here, ladies and gentlemen. People are not selling their XRP because, yeah, awesome, a $3 to $4 XRP is cool, but they know that another fresh round of liquidity is going to be pouring in. Now, do the wave counts suggest this on the current charts? Absolutely. Like I said, XRP was in a massive 7-year triangle accumulation, and what eventually led to the breakout is now just in the beginning phase of what could be for a fifth wave to the upside on the macro. Now, let alone, we're also trading near all-time highs here. Now, after many other coins have done a decent pullback, XRP is still holding really relatively well within the current range as a WXY pullback, which is a controlled pullback. Now, many of the XRP haters are probably sitting here laughing, thinking that it's impossible to hit $10 or even $20 to $30 per XRP because of its market cap. And it's quite funny because they can never give a reason why. They just think that it's impossible to see $1 trillion market cap. Look, even if we're strictly talking about just market cap alone, I think that even with just the market cap alone, I think it's possible just based on the fact that the project has over 1,500 contracts or so, banks holding XRP for cross-border payments, and a potential U.S. strategic reserve. We're not even talking about potential ETFs here. Look, it's here to stay. But the point is that even with the market cap idea, market cap does not even dictate the actual price of XRP. That's the crazy thing. It's the last marginal buyer and seller from a demand perspective that determines the price in real time. And that is why we saw such a massive increase in the market cap just going from December into January. And that alone gives us the whole picture that it's very possible for us to reach $20 to $30 per XRP. And now I'm not saying those are the final targets, but I'm saying that there is a very likely chance that we're going to be seeing much higher levels where it's going to be more bullish than we anticipated. So from a price action perspective, using the Elliott Wave Theory, I think everything is aligning quite nicely. This 7-year accumulation was a dead giveaway. That this breakout here was not surprising. The real surprise move will be this Wave 3, in my opinion. That should be far more profitable over here. So I think there's going to be a lot of fights within this range, meaning that a lot of the haters are going to be talking about these people that held for 7 years are not going to be profiting anymore. And these people are also similarly laughing at the people who over here who missed out on the actual run when they should be actually accumulating more XRP. So with that being said, I do think that this controlled pullback that we had for this wave 1-2 is now in play, and I think it's in full action and in full play right now, that we do have a protected low because we had a very clean WXY to the downside. And I think that we're now working in what could be the minuscule degrees of a wave 1-2 before we start building and nesting our structures for these 1-2s and 1-2s going forward that eventually creates that larger picture for a wave 3. And by the time we get to these levels, it'll be too late to recognize that this here was a minuscule accumulation range. So what that means is we have to now zoom in and talk about how that is actually being achieved. And if you go to the 4-hour and the 1-hour time frame, everything is aligning for higher levels. Again, we had a clear 5-way move up that broke out of the triangle, and once we hit that $270 region, $3.50, we got another pullback. Now this here was a little bit frightening, but let me tell you, the Elliott Wave Theory, that's what gives us the clarity. This here was a 3-way pullback instead of a 5-way pullback. When you have a 5-way pullback, that's usually the beginning of either a wave 1 or a wave A. But in this case, since we had only a 3-way pullback, this led us into a wave W. We had another complex WXY here, ABC going into that wave Y. And what's most important about this current pullback that we're seeing for XRP and why it's so strong against other coins is that it's witnessing symmetry and overall geometry. If you look and measure each of the waves using the Fibonacci levels, there are certain levels that smart traders are interested in selling and also buying during these types of pullbacks. And as you can see, we have very strong equality between not only the larger degrees, but even the smaller degrees. This wave W measured and using the Fibonacci extension tool equals the exact length of this wave Y. Same idea here. This wave A equals the same exact length for this wave C. Is this a self-fulfilling prophecy? Absolutely not. I don't think this is going to be something that where we're seeing, another accumulation phase for a larger move to the downside. It's all programmed, in my opinion. Everyone has specific buy zones, and I think these market makers are also having that in mind as well, where a lot of people are not able to identify it, but we as smart traders do. So what about the current range? Right now, since we're also expecting the major bull run to continue for not only Bitcoin, but for XRP as well, we're also seeing the possibility of shallow pullbacks. And this is why I think this is the last pit stop, in my opinion, before we actually go for that final wave 3 on the smaller degree timeframes as well. And that, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to see many opportunities at these levels, especially after this 1-2 pullback, which should be a real true last opportunity of a higher degree. That move to the upside is going to happen such in a flash. It's going to happen like that. It's not even going to pull back. We're not talking even, these 1-2 shallow pullbacks. Imagine the shallow pullbacks on the actual extension waves. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, considering everything from a top-down analysis, all of the evidence from a geometry and symmetry perspective, all of the evidence provided from the Elliott Wave Theory, it just reduces so much of the bearish scenarios that we have to remain bullish even from a non-biased perspective. Even if you're a hater for XRP, it's just a matter of the facts that you have to follow what the trend is, which is to the upside. I just have yet to find a real true bearish opportunity for us to be doing that, because if there was a bearish opportunity, I would be here making sure to preach that, but I just simply did not see it. So that is why I believe XRP is still going to be going for a larger wave 5th on the macro, but more importantly, this may be the last opportunity for accumulating more XRP. Again, this is all for entertainment purposes. This is all about validating my personal thesis, because in the end, we're all here on the same page trying to make the same gains and the same goals in terms of increasing our crypto portfolios, but at the same time, making sure that we get out of this alive, right? Surviving. So right now, this is how I'm currently seeing the price action for XRP. Thank you very much. Hopefully that was helpful. I'll make sure to update the shorter time frames. And if you guys are interested in joining the Discord or Patreon membership, the links are in the description below. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a fantastic rest of the week. Bye-bye.